Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks, to the Hungry Gamers, back with another episode of the monthly menu. And yes, I know I didn't do one all year. I think I did one in January, and then I got busy and I just didn't get to it. And I didn't really think people missed it. But just last month, I put up a quick poll just to kind of see if people were missing it, wanted to see it again, and overwhelmingly, the results came back that people wanted to see this again. So, if you're joining us here for the first time, this is something that it will be a monthly series, though I'm kind of doing a year recap this time, where I talk about the games that I played the most in the previous month, and then what I'm looking forward to playing in the following month. And then once that gets rolling, I'll kind of look back on how did I do? Did I actually get the games that I said I was going to play played? And how did that go? Let's jump right in here. So kind of as a reminder, this is the games that I played the most all year long. And so I'm going to do 10 of them this time, though usually I'm only going to do 5. I say that, we'll see if that actually happens. So, starting at number 10, we have Root. Now, I don't have anything to show you because I played this on the Root app and maybe Tabletop Simulator. But that one came in at number 10. This is a game that I like this game. It's fun, it's really challenging. It is not my favorite of the Leader Games' games. That makes me weird. I prefer Vast Mysterious Manor, but highly asymmetric, fun to play, and with the app it's pretty quick to get to the table and get through it. Now, before I move into the actual physical copies of games, I will say that just out of this top 10, there were a whole bunch of great games in there that didn't quite make my top played, but I'll just kind of toss them out there so you have an idea. There was Guildmaster, there was Coloma, there was Theurgy, there was Galaxy Defenders, and all those games I played a lot, but not quite top 10. Now, moving into the ones that I actually have physical copies of. Number 9, most played game was Cosmic Frog, and this is one that I rated very, very highly in my review. I think it's fantastic. It's great if you can get a lot of players to the table. It's better and better. It's pure chaos, barely contained chaos. I absolutely love it. Very, very random, but truly, if you're able to get past that randomness, which I think is kind of what the game is about, then it's just wonderful. Cosmic Frog is number 9. Probably isn't a surprise because I've been talking very glowingly about it lately, but what is a surprise is that this game just showed up fairly recently, and it has the benefit of being a very small, quick, fast-to-play game. And so my number 8 is Land vs. Sea, which I've been playing this game both in person and digitally all the time. It's just a wonderful tile-laying competitive game, and I think it really, really shines when you get a third player in there and you have 3 players that are now more asymmetric. It's just a blast. I really, really like this game. Land vs. Sea is my number 8. Now, number 7 should not come as a surprise to anybody because this was one of my games of the year last year, and that is Court of Miracles, which came in at number 7. This one has benefited from, one, being pretty fast to play. It's a relatively small box, so I was able to take it to conventions and things like that. And it's also very easy to play on Tabletopia. So all of that put together, I get this game to the table a lot. It's truly a knife fight in a phone book feel of an area control game. I really enjoy it. It's always fun. It doesn't overstay its welcome in my opinion. And I think I made a great solo bot so you can play it by yourself. And that is Court of Miracles, my number 7. Now my number 6 is one that I played a ton earlier in the year, and it petered off for a bit for a lot of the summer, but lately at the end of the year I've kind of picked it back up a bit, and that is Mouse, Cheese, Cat, Cucumber, which is just delivered off of Kickstarter from Fight in a Box Games. Now this is another asymmetric style game, and it plays in 10-15 minutes. Each player is going to take on the role of the mouse, the cheese, the cat, or the cucumber. Each of them has a different power and a different in-game win condition, and you'll be laying these tiles out on the board and moving the mouse and the cat around through it, trying to accomplish your in-game goal. It also comes with a couple different solo modes, which are pretty darn fun, and the whole thing is actually even a puzzle that you can put together, and it tells a story via a picture. Very, very clever game. Very, very inexpensive, and I mean, look at the size of this thing. So, that is the number 6 most played game of the year, Mouse, Cheese, Cat, Cucumber. Now, my number 5, we're starting to get into stuff that's probably not a surprise. Number 5 is Merchant's Cove, which I counted both playing this on Tabletop Simulator and the prototype, and then now at last that I have it, the actual production copy. Again, another asymmetric game that, well, I really enjoy that style. However, this one, everyone's playing the same core game, then there's all these different mini games that each different player is playing to kind of make their different goods that they're trying to sell. I really enjoy this game. It seems like it's going to be a lot to learn, but it's really not. It is actually much simpler than it looks. I know when it delivered, a lot of people were a little bit more down on it than you would have thought from the amount of support it had in the campaign, but I really like this game. I think it is just wonderful, wonderful game. I really enjoy it. So that is my number 5 most played game, Merchant's Cove. Now, my number 4 most played game is Middara, which is this huge, huge box of dungeon crawler goodness. And this actually, not only was it one of my most played games of the year, it wound up in my top 3 or 4 of my dungeon crawl list, my top 10 dungeon crawls. I think the way this game plays is fantastic. It's got a wonderful story. I really enjoy pretty much everything about it. It's on the edge of having characters be more sexualized than I like in the artwork, but it does kind of carry that through male and female, at least in the core box. I'm not a fan of a lot of the add-on stuff, but again, that is add-on, it's not the core box. And overall, I think that the gameplay and the story and the characters are just wonderful. I really, really have been enjoying Middara, and so that's how it landed at my number 4 most played game of the year. Moving into my number 3, this is one that I've played a lot of solo. I've played a fair amount with my wife here at home, and I've even played with other people over Zoom because all of us had our own copies of the game. And so this one I just really, really have been enjoying, and actually it's the first blank and write game that I've ever actually truly liked, and that is Hadrian's Wall. I think this is a great engine building resource management game, and it does something that I think is just so special in a game. It makes me feel like I'm smart as you're going through, because there's always a turn where you're like, I just did something with one resource and wound up filling in 7 different boxes because of the way I chained together my different moves in that particular round. And I just think it's just wonderful how that goes. It plays pretty quick. It doesn't have a lot of player interaction, but for me, this is a fantastic flip and write game, and really the only blank and write game that I'm playing regularly. I have a few others that I've reviewed and reviewed well, but this is the one that I keep bringing back. Moving into number 2. Number 2 is another big one, and by big one I mean literally a big one, and that is Dwellings of Eldervale. Another huge box game. This one is the only other area control style game that I play regularly along with Court of Miracles. Court of Miracles being very, very fast. This one's a little longer, more in depth, lots of worker placement, which I love, tableau building, which I enjoy, and also some dice chucking. There's some dice chucking that's in there, which I know is the reason why some people are a little down on the game, because there is combat and it's just, you know, throw some dice and the person who rolls 1 die can beat the person who's rolling 6 dice. It can happen. It doesn't happen often, but it can. And I really like that. I like the way it works. I like pretty much everything about it. The production on it is just fantastic. I think this is a fantastic hybrid Euro Ameristyle game, which has some delightful thematics around it. And the solo is fantastic. So that is my number 2 most played game of the year, Dwellings of Eldervale, which brings us to number 1. And number 1 is a little bit of a surprise to me because this did not show up until the second half or maybe even the third quarter of the year, and that is Nidavellir. This is a game about set collection and bidding, and you're using these coins that you're bidding to collect these different dwarves as you're trying to, again, build these different sets. But the catch of the game is you have a 0 coin that you can bid, and when you bid that 0, you wind up taking the other 2 coins that you didn't use, and you combine them, and now you have a better stock of things to bid with, because it makes those coins better and better. The game also has a wonderful expansion called Thingvellir that after you've played Nidavellir, I don't know, 4, 5 times and you really understand how it works, you absolutely want to get that other small and relatively inexpensive expansion and just throw that on in there because it just is fantastic. This game is fast. it gets your brain going, and there are so many different avenues you can go down to try to succeed because of all the different heroes that are out there. This game is great, and it is helped by the fact that it also is available on Board Game Arena, which means you can play a game lightning fast online as well, which has helped me introduce this game to a whole bunch of people, but truly a game that I've played a ton, and I foresee myself playing a ton going into the next year as well. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 most played games of the year. Again, usually we'll do this month by month. And now let's talk very quickly about the things that I'm looking forward to playing in December coming up. And the first thing I'll say is I have my Game of the Year award nominees. Now, it'll probably be a week or so after I release this video that I will release my Game of the Year nominees, or maybe I'll release those first. I'm not sure, but that's coming. You've either seen it or you will see it. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to spend a lot of December replaying all of those games as many times as I can so I can decide what the final order is, what the Game of the Year winner is going to be. I loved doing that last year, and I'm really looking forward to doing that again this year. The next one on my list is one that was sent to me by Peter Vaughn recently, and that is right here, Rise of Tribes. I played it solo a few times. I had a good time with it, but I'm really looking forward to playing the Streamline Mat area control, but again, very, very, very fast. It's one that really has grabbed my interest, has grabbed my excitement, so I'm hoping to get that to the table in December. The next one on the list is one I've already talked about, Madara. I really am looking forward to getting through the campaign of the first box before I even pledge for the second and third box of them when that pledge manager reopens. Just a wonderful, wonderful game. I love it. Really want to know what happens in the story. The next one on my list is another campaign game that I've been playing lately, and that is Galaxy Defenders. This is one that I had sold many years ago and had regretted ever since. I found a great deal on not only the original game and the 2 big box expansions, so I grabbed all of those. I've been painting them, I've been playing it, and though I've in the past played through the entire core campaign, I'm looking forward to finishing that sometime in December if I possibly can, or at least getting closer so I can then dive into the second and third box. And then the last thing that I'm looking forward to playing in December is The List. Now, what is The List, you say? The List is something that I made with my wife. She came in, she wandered around through the game room here. I say wandered like it's really big. It's not. This is most of the game room you're seeing behind me. And she picked games that she wanted to try. Maybe they're games that we played before and she liked, or ones that she hadn't played that she was interested in trying. So I'm really looking forward to getting through the rest of this list right here. Maybe you can read it, maybe you can. We've gotten through a couple of them here and there, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 games on this list. I'm looking forward to knocking a few more of those out, not to mention all the other games that I get her to play with me as they come in. So there you have it, folks. That is the monthly menu for all of 2021, pretty much. I will do another one at the end of December. We'll see just how I did on the list of things I'm looking forward to playing, and we'll see what actually wound up being in the top 5. So, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.